On today's episode of Life with JB and Tisha.
But when you walk through, my heart dropped because I had already saw you in church,
Right.
but I wasn't the type to like approach you anyway because I mean I was definitely like digging you on the back end,
Right.
but I wasn't gonna because I don't believe in that, you know, like let the guy approach me, you know. I'm the catch.
And I got the ring, the engagement ring in my pocket, y'all. Ready to propose to this woman, and she cutting up. I had a moment where I had to just walk outside the Ocean Center. I had to walk outside, and I just kind of went over, kind of away from the building a little bit, right there on A1A. I had to talk with God, and I was like, okay, God, I know I'm in your will right now. I know this is the woman that you're choosing for me to walk with for the rest of my life, to walk beside me. And it's like, God, she is really cutting up right now. I don't want to doubt you, but am I making a mistake?
Aww.
Is she the right one?
Yeah. One day you were driving, and that time, man, it seemed like that month, like you and I were just going at it, just arguing, just debating about every little thing. You just kept saying, but you, and I'm looking at you like it's you. You said something, and I instantly wanted to cuss you out. On the inside, I was looking out the window because at this point I determined I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I'm just a ratchet chick on the street. And I was thinking to myself like, Tisha, you are not gonna cuss him out. You are not, like, you are a woman of God. You're gonna get yourself together and you are gonna do the right thing. Stop looking at him. Look at yourself. What are you doing wrong?
I'm thinking, oh man, when we walk down that aisle and we say I do, everything was gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
Just clueless. There's no perfect. Nothing. Nobody's perfect. There's no perfect you and no perfect me. So how can two imperfect people come together and it be perfect? It just wasn't gonna happen.
Life with JB and Tisha.
I'm JB.
And I'm Tisha.
And this is Life with JB and Tisha. Keeping it real. Man, this is the second episode. Can you believe it?
I'm here. We're in the moment.
You know what I'm saying? We're here for it.
Yes.
Man, I just want to thank every one of you that's been tuning in.
Yes.
Every one of you that's been showing support for this podcast. Our heart and passion for this podcast is to hope that we can reach people who are desiring relationships, who are desiring marriages, even friendships. Yeah. And just to share our experiences with you, wise man told us, a very wise man,
our pastor,
Dr. Duran Hepburn of Jump Ministries Global Church. He always teaches us that wisdom is learning from other people's mistakes. And so our hopes is that you learn from our mistakes and our pitfalls and our things that we went through, our lows and our highs, our wins and our losses, to help you in your walk with being in relationships and in a right relationship, which we believe is a relationship built on Jesus Christ. Straight up.
Yes.
Okay. God has to be the foundation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But how are you doing today, beautiful? You look so amazing.
Thank you, man.
You really do. I love the colors.
Thank you, man.
You know what I'm saying? You look like life.
Thank you.
You look like life.
I feel like life. I don't know. I'm grateful to be here in this moment. I'm grateful and happy that we made it to this second episode.
Yes.
It was definitely, I just want us to kind of share like how I know we touched on it in the introductory episode. However, I would love for us to share how we actually got here really quick, because this is kind of like, it was a very pivotal moment for us to even start this podcast, because clearly I was not gang. But I'm grateful that God could choose us, that he chose us, to be a vessel for him.
Yes. Not that we're perfect or
We
have
are-
it together.
And that's why I was so hesitant, because I was
Like
just
me.
like, Lord, you want to use me,
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
you know our dirt, and you want to use us, you know, hence keeping it real, which, you know, Dr. Hepburn actually was like, no, keeping it real.
Yes.
Because
listen, I have to give a shout out to our spiritual father,
yes,
the man that has kept this marriage.
Whew.
Listen, we ain't make it 20 years by nothing. Okay.
Right.
It took we took mentorship, being under the leadership of a spiritual father that has such a big heart.
Yes.
And that's our bishop, Dr. Jerron Hepburn. And he literally, I'm telling you, he literally helped us walk through this thing called marriage. Okay. And let that be a nugget too. You have to be under spiritual authority. You need the right leadership that can take you and lead you and show you the right things through the wisdom of God. See, because man, we be thinking we got it together and we know what we're doing, but we really don't. Because if we did, we wouldn't even need God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it takes a man or a woman of God to see your situation and help and get that wisdom from God to show you how to navigate through this thing. And that's who he's been for us.
Yeah.
And in fact, Life with JB and Tisha Keeping It Real podcast, the Keeping It Real came from him. He was like, you need to add keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we always believe in, keeping it real with folks. No, we don't want to give you any fallacies. We don't want to come and try to make you think we got it all together.
Because we clearly do not.
A bunch of roses and petals and we just floating with the angels.
Right.
No, we're going to keep it real, because keeping it real is going to help you to be able to keep it real. And so we're blessed to have our pastor, and we love him to death.
Yes.
But I also want to say too, when I said last time on the introductory episode that we were supposed to start it last year, he was the one that actually spoke it up then. You know what I'm saying? But we operated and we operated in some disobedience, y'all. Pray for us.
Yes.
But we repented for it, and this time he said it again. Hey, you guys need to get started with that podcast. Keep you know what I'm saying, with the relationships, keeping it real. And so here you have it. Life with JB and Tisha, keeping it real. But we just wanted to say that to you, to know that this is something you can do on your own. You got to have some type of godly wisdom.
You want to have that.
You have to have it.
You want to have that.
It just won't last. Just trust us on that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I was even thinking, like, even our relationship, man, like, it was crazy.
Yes.
Because I remember when you actually went to Dr. Hepburn and you went to our pastor, and he actually shared with you, like, yeah, she's the one.
let me touch on that. I'm glad you said. Let me touch on that.
Yeah.
So I had just started coming to the church. Just started coming, and I had a question about the Bible.
Yes.
Right. So I went up to him. It was right after service, and listen, I come from a church when I was little, where it was just real religious, and you know, going to the pastor to me was like this person on this throne, and you just couldn't go to him.
No questions. No, like.
So that was my idea of church until I came to our church.
Right.
And I was like, I got these questions. I want to be able to find out the answers.
Right.
So I went to him, and it was right after service, immediately after service, and I was like, hey, Bishop, I have this question about the word. And so I asked him the question. And right as he answered me, he said, you know Letitia?
Oh, MG.
And I looked at him like, oh my God, if somebody would have had to pick me up off the floor, because I dropped to the floor. And I was like, yes, I know who she is.
Right.
He said, I think you guys would be good together. I think she's the one for you.
Oh my goodness.
What you don't understand is I had already been checking her out, right? And the person that brought me to church was the one I was kind of discussing it with every now and again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, wait a minute, how you know that I've been, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So let me back it up a little bit. I didn't know anything about prophetic,
right?
You know what I'm saying? The prophetic ministry, prophetic gift, I should say. I didn't know anything about prophetic gifts and people being able to see things or whatever. So to me, it blew me away. Like, wait a minute. First of all, how you gonna bring her up
Right
now?
right.
When I'm already like checking her out and I haven't said nothing to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was my first lesson in the prophetic.
Right.
But he said, you know, what he said, I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And he said, you know what? Why don't you come to my house? Because I invite people, you know, over to the house and we eat and fellowship. He said, have the person that brought me, have him bring you over to the house. And it's been on ever since.
On and popping. July 18th, which is
2004.
2004.
Wow.
But what was crazy is that when you came over, I was in the kitchen cooking.
Yes, you were. Getting
it in, yes. And we kind of touched on that a little bit in the introductory as well. But that's when I remember I was cooking, and when I was cooking, it was me and another young lady in there, and she was assisting me. And then that's when, once again, you came through that door.
I don't think I was wearing all black.
No, you weren't wearing all black. I honestly can't remember what you were wearing, but you can't. I saw a tall, dark figure walk through that door. It's something about that door. So, but when you walked through, my heart dropped.
Oh, wow.
Because I had already saw you in church, but I wasn't the type to like approach you anyway, because I mean, I was definitely like, you know, like digging you on the back end, but I wasn't gonna, because I don't believe in that, you know, like let the guy approach me, you know, I'm the catch. However, when I remember when you walked in, I was just like, okay, he's here, and our pastor is so hilarious right now. I was so shocked, and I had to tell the other girl, I was like, you got to cook the green beans. And she was like, no, you. I was like, no. And I just went to the back of the house, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening.
But let me say this real quick.
You're good.
I want to say this too, because at the time I couldn't tell none of that.
Really?
I couldn't tell none of that.
You
was holding that thing down. You know what I say? I couldn't tell none of that. You were just, to me, it was like you were just flowing in what you do.
Oh,
I
was so nervous.
I couldn't tell it.
And I was thinking to myself, girl, you didn't even offer him any Sprite. You didn't offer him a glass of water. Because, you know, it's all about the hospitality. Yes. But
what our bishop is
a stickler.
He is the hospitality king. You hear what I say?
Yes.
Yeah, you want to get treated right? Come to Jump Ministries Global Church.
Yes. So, but I remember we were just in there, and I was cooking, and then you came through, and I remember that's when you had that big gargantuan plate of food.
Oh yeah.
And
chunky plate.
And so you were just eating and everything, but I just couldn't imagine that was actually day one in your head.
Right.
Because see,
once I walked through that door and saw you again, and he already had told me that he suggested you for, I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, it's on and popping.
But
you was my wife that day. you was get. I would see a ring on your finger and everything that day.
But JB, you were just coming over because he was trying to invite you to have something to eat.
That's all right. Listen, we are the hunters, and you are the prey.
Yes,
and a hunter already sees his prey way before he makes the move. They're going for the attack.
Okay,
so yes.
So, but my thing is, we exchanged phone numbers that night.
We did.
When we exchanged phone numbers, and you gonna try to come out all swaggy with your business card. I mean, really?
Let me
strong business card.
Let me give you a little backdrop. You know
what I'm saying? God.
I was freshly back home, where we from, and but I just moved back from Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so I'm all into the music industry, producing, writing, performing as an artist. And I had a little business card with my little production company name and everything. So she's speaking about
yes.
when we came over when I came over to our pastor's house
for dinner.
and you know what I'm saying, what the, exchange them to get them them digits, you know what I'm saying, get the number, you know what I'm saying, and I put out my little card trying to be all, you know what I'm saying, like I got a little something going on, you know. Like
oh my gosh. So but I have to say, I mean, Johnny, we did not start dating.
Listen,
in my head, I was like, so,
listen.
And then you and I was talking on the phone.
We were.
You called me the next day at work while I was at work, and I just.
And you didn't expect that.
I did not expect. I didn't expect you to call me, and I'm
the very next day.
The very next day, baby, you didn't even wait a couple of days.
No,
not even a week.
When you know what God is trying to bless you with.
Right.
You gotta
strike the iron while it's hot.
always say you gotta strike the iron while it's hot.
So but the thing is, I was definitely surprised. I was pleasantly surprised.
Come on, pleasantly.
I mean, and I just have to say that it was the beginning of a great thing.
Oh.
And I was so happy because you actually work right across the street from me.
Yes.
At the airport.
I was working at the airport. And I was working 2 jobs at the time.
Yeah. And you came over and you would come over and you surprised me and took me to lunch and all the things. And I was trying to act like when you took me to lunch, I was trying to act like I wasn't messy with my food.
Trying to eat all proper.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, yo, pick up that fry. Pick up that piece of chicken and bite it. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. You know, you only have a one time to make a first impression.
But listen, when I dropped the fry with the ketchup on my shirt, I was like, oh, like trying to act all somewhere, like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Like, but after a while, you realize this is just what she did. This is what she do.
You know what I'm saying?
But but moving forward.
Yes. Today's episode.
Yes.
This is a good juicy one, y'all. But
yikes.
It's juicy, but I know it's gonna help because none of us really have the key or the answer to relationships.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you get it from the one who created relationships.
Yeah.
And that's what we had to learn. And so this episode today is called If Walls Could Talk. Simply meaning when we first got married, went on a honeymoon, came back home and started to live life as a married couple. We faced a lot of challenges. We were a lot of
real life.
Yeah, real life hit. Real life happened.
Yeah, seriously.
And so we wanted to just discuss that today and go into a little deep.
A little deep.
Might not expose everything, but
you won't do that. You might not come back. Or you might come back.
You might come back for some more. But we just want to go into it about our first couple of years in marriage, just hoping that we can help you, the viewers that are watching, to help you navigate your way in your relationship.
Yeah. So I do want to say,
okay,
when we got engaged, you proposed to me at one of our huge conventions.
Yes.
It was in Daytona at the the Ocean Center in Daytona.
Beachside.
Yes, and our church was putting on a huge conference, youth conference.
Yes,
and I was so surprised. I actually gave you a hard time that day.
Oh my God!
I gave you such a hard time that day,
Tisha.
Oh, I felt so embarrassed. I feel bad to this day about that.
When I said you made me, I was a little upset that day.
Maybe I think you were questioning whether or not you wanted to propose.
I was questioning.
I felt bad.
I was questioning. Let me say this.
It was a test.
When it's a God thing, you better believe there's a test you're gonna have to pass.
Yes.
And the day I was proposing to my beautiful wife sitting over here for 20 years, she took me through it, y'all.
I had to look. The Lord wanted him to be sure that it was the right thing he wanted to do.
Yes, but what she did not know is that our pastor and myself had been planning this for months. Okay, we came up with the Ocean Center event, the conference. We would make it the finale of the conference. where I would propose to her in front of everybody. She had no clue.
No clue.
So she invited her mom, her sisters, everybody to come. And we're at the conference, and I remember it was early in that day.
Yes.
It was early in that day. And she just started like
acting a monkey.
Cutting up. Just really cutting up. And
had
I'm like,
an attitude, like, why is he following me?
Yeah.
Why are you I need a me time. I need a moment. I need a moment.
And I got the ring, the engagement ring in my pocket, y'all. Ready to propose to this woman. And she cutting up.
Yikes.
Cutting up. And I had a moment where I had to just walk outside the Ocean Center. I had to walk outside. And I just kind of went over, kind of away from the building a little bit, right there on A1A. And I had a talk with God. I had to have a talk with him. And I was like, okay, God, I know I'm in your will right now. Yeah. I know this is the woman that you're choosing for me to walk with for the rest of my life, to walk beside me. And it's like, God, she is really cutting up right now. And I don't want to doubt you.
Right.
But am I making a mistake?
Aww.
Is she the right one?
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
But there's something about God. He will, when you're in his will, he'll give you that peace.
Yeah.
There was a peace that he gave me. And I knew, you know what? Just don't even let that phase you.
Right.
JB, just keep it moving.
Maybe I let the devil use me. I let the devil use me, people.
Let the devil in the house.
Let the devil in the house.
But no, man, it was I just was like, you know what, let me go, I'm going back in. And that night was one of the most amazing moments in my life. Because I'm new to the faith. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying, I'm in my new family. Yeah. My church family. And to be able to drop on a knee and propose to the woman that's gonna be the wife for the rest of my life. Yeah. That was amazing to me. Yeah. And it's something that I'll definitely never forget. Oh. But that's just a testament of when you do things the right way. Yeah. When you submit it under authority and you follow instructions, even when the instructions may not make sense. Sometimes instructions may not make sense. But when you trust in God and you trust the God and the person, the person that gives you the instructions, the leader, and you follow those instructions, God can see that you can trust, because if I can do it and trust a person that's here in the flesh, right? The man of God, then surely I can trust God himself, who you don't see. And so that was an amazing thing. And I just thank God for that moment, because in my mind, it wouldn't have been that extravagant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
But God wanted to do it big. Right. But I had to listen to instruction. Right. Right. And being submitted under authority. Very, very, very important. Very, very important.
Yeah. One thing I want to say is I want to kind of fast forward to when we were so we were dating.
Yes.
A little
over a year.
It was 17 months altogether. Okay. I mean, let's be clear. Okay. 17 months. Okay. So during that time, so let me back up a little bit. So before you came into my life, before we started dating, I had been single for 7 years. Yes. And I during that 7-year time, I was a true woman of God.
Come on, somebody.
I wasn't cussing. Because before now, I was squabbling. I was squabbling in my past relationship.
Let you have it.
Yeah. I was going through, look, he and I both were squabbling. Which I don't make light of that, because that's not not good. Not good. Not good. And it was like a very, very hard relationship. And basically I know it's because of, my past and how I grew up, the things I've gone through. Yes. And it was a hard relationship. Yeah. And when you and I got together, like I said, during that 7 years, I found that I wasn't cursing anymore. I wasn't smoking cigarettes. I wasn't smoking anything. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing anything. And so I just thought I was good. Now, mind you, in my friendships, we had our little spats here and there. And I knew, Tisha was in there somewhere. she was Tisha from the streets was ready to come out, when they made me mad or whatever. But it never got to that point of rage.
Right.
And man, I remember when you and I got together I remember you told me, actually, when you came to my job, and you told me, you said, oh my goodness, you are so perfect. I've never met a woman like you before. And anxiety instantly hit me. Anxiety hit me because I thought to myself, he don't know Tisha like from the streets, Tisha.
Right. I just
he don't know
saved, converted.
Yeah, and I used to wear skirts. Listen, I used to wear skirts all the like maxi skirts all the way to my ankles. And he said that my skirts had wheels on them, but but I just want to do the right thing, I just really want to do the right thing.
Hey, you walk. You
weren't seeing nothing.
Just holding. Everything covered up.
I love everything to the imagination because you wasn't copping, seeing nothing. And so when you said that, you were so perfect. I was thinking, oh my goodness,
this man
don't have a clue, and I don't want to mess this up.
Right.
I don't want to mess up his perception of what a woman of God is supposed to look like, what I'm supposed, and because you would say compared to the woman in the street or the woman I used to be with, I was just like, oh, I don't want to mess that up. And so I was really nervous moving forward with you because of that.
Life with JB and Tisha, keeping it real. But you know what's important though is that what's important to say is that sometimes we don't know the things that are still in us.
Oh yeah.
Until that test comes.
Yes.
God is always testing us to prove us in things. And at that time, she hadn't been with a guy like that in a serious relationship. She had a couple guys I think she was friends with, but she didn't have a man that she had actually let in like in the past, right? And so sometimes when you're not tested in an area, you think you're good, right? You think you got it all together.
Got it all
what I'm saying? I got this, I'm good now. But what it was, God wanted to expose that inside she hadn't been healed all the way.
Right.
And there were some things that still needed to be worked out. And so since she hadn't really had a man close to her like that, as far as dating is concerned, that test wasn't there.
Right.
But when I came along, it brought out some things that were still in there. Yeah.
And it was so crazy because you couldn't have paid me to see that could have happened.
Wow.
And so even fast forward to us getting married, when we got engaged, we made it down the aisle.
Yes.
Boom, honeymoon. Listen to me. Our honeymoon was, I think, one of the best moments
it was.
I've ever experienced in my life.
Wow.
Like seriously.
Wow.
I was with the man of my dreams. Tall, dark chocolate, just all the things.
Yes.
And then we went to Atlanta,
Georgia.
And we had listen. and even with that, we were okay. So we left. Our honeymoon was our wedding was on that Saturday.
That's right.
We woke up the next day, went to Atlanta. We went to Atlanta. We just living our best life.
Yes.
Had a couple of coins in our pocket, and just going to Atlanta, just living our best life. We were supposed to come back on that Wednesday. We left on Sunday. We were supposed to come back Wednesday. Get to Atlanta, showing out for the Lord. And no, we had a great time.
Yeah, we did.
And we go to Atlanta, honeymoon. We hook up with a couple of your friends. With your friend Rodney, he'd take us to see Tyler Perry set.
Yes.
And then we go to the different, places or whatever, restaurants, nice restaurants, just having a great time. And then Wednesday came. We were like, I think we'll leave on Thursday. I'll leave maybe Friday. And then, because we just had such a great time.
We did.
Saturday, then we were like, we got to call. Yeah, y'all show up on Saturday.
Yeah.
I
It's
thought
about
those
time y'all to head on
back.
come on back.
Yeah, because y'all show it out. Y'all have responsibilities and obligations.
You know what I'm saying?
So we come back on Saturday.
Mhm.
Monday,
Mm.
we realized rent was due.
Yes.
We had bills due.
Yes.
Because mind you, you and I, we didn't live together before we got married. You were like, no, you stay in our apartment, and I'll stay over here.
Yes,
and
we believe in our faith.
Yeah,
that a man and woman who are dating, even engaged,
because
should not live together.
Right.
The Bible clearly says, "Can a man take fire in his bosom and not be burned?" You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You
and I would have been on fire. On fire. So,
but we know that was you know what I'm saying. That's the right
that
way
was
to
our
do it,
morals.
because we
That's
don't
our
want
faith.
exactly.
Yeah.
We don't want to cross any lines or do anything that would jeopardize the purity of our marriage.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm grateful for that. Yeah. Now, let's not act like we didn't kiss before. I mean, we did kiss.
Do you remember the first time it happened?
Oh, listen. Some people think I know me, right? So kissing to me leads to babies. If you get what I'm saying. So in my past, so I just never wanted to cross that line with you, because I didn't want to mess up my, I don't know, like I didn't want to mess up my I don't know what to say, but I just didn't want to mess that up.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to think of me less than, or feel like I was just like loose and
you don't want to compromise.
Compromise, right? And because I had been celibate those entire 7 years, which I am so grateful for, by the grace of God.
Did that.
Right?
And the Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit, He did that. Oh, Holy Spirit. So He kept me for real.
Wow.
And so during that time, but however, let me fast forward. When you and I, we got together the very first time, you and I was sitting in the car, and I was looking, I said, ooh, I want to kiss him. Because in the past, like, I mean, it was nothing. Yeah. I was like, I want to kiss.
Keep it real.
I don't know, whatever. Because I really, like, that's just what it was. Yeah. And so, but when I saw it, but I still had the conviction. I was hesitant to say I wanted to kiss you, but at the same time, I was like, I'm gonna kiss them lips. Get them lips. And so we kissed, and I just immediately felt like dum 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 dum. Like, oh my God, why did I do that? I crossed the line. Oh my goodness, put me out on OBT, Jesus. Oh, Lord, and so I was so upset with myself about that, because I just didn't want to compromise, and the morals that I had for myself had, and so when that happened, I remember you were looking at me like, what happened? What's wrong with you? We just kissed. Like, ain't no big deal. And I was just like, no, why did I do that? The kiss was great. I mean, God is good. Hey. Hallelujah.
No complaints here.
But I was just so upset with myself, because I really wanted to set a standard, you know. And so, but anyway, I just said that to, a little sidebar, because we were not perfect like that, you know. But anyway, come
off the honeymoon.
Come off the honeymoon.
Get to the apartment.
Get to the apartment
that you were living in.
That I was living in. And so we literally, from the first moment we came back, honeymoon was gone. Out the window.
Done.
Johnny, we were struggling for real. Like, you didn't believe, I believe in putting a little bleach in my dishwater for sanitation purposes, antibacterial. I mean, they have it in hand soap. They have it in dish. They even have it in certain dish detergents, bleach. And you thought I was trying to kill you. And you said, is this bleach? Why you trying to kill me? Are you trying to kill me, Letitia? I was like, no. And then I could only wash dishes like with a certain temperature of water.
Right.
You were like, no, you gotta boil the water put it in the sink. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I am not putting hot, boiling, scalding water on my head. No way. You're like, but it gotta stay clean. But you don't believe in a little bleach.
Right.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So,
but, hey, you know what you know.
You know what you know.
That's how I was raised. Make hot water.
Yes.
But my mom didn't put bleach in the water. She didn't teach me that.
And my mama clearly didn't believe in hot, scalding, boiling water. You know. So, but it was just like our differences. Immediately, I started seeing our differences, like little things, you know, and then it was just like it was just like different things. Like I didn't believe in certain things you believed in. I didn't want to, I loved the little me time. You're like the type that's, no, baby, we good. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Baby, we can be together all the time. And yeah. And I'm more, I need a little me time. And you like, what's me time? This is not Heather Haley, but in that the first 2 years, I remember, man, that first 30 days.
Crucial.
Johnny.
Crucial.
And I was ready to return to sender.
One thing too, I didn't understand that in ministry, God, you know, especially for a husband and wife, God will show the opposite spouse things about the other spouse, not to condemn them for it or to come down on them for it.
Yes.
But to show the areas that need to be healed, right? Yeah. And which is the reason why God put us in each other's lives, to bring a balance and to also be, you know, compassion and show grace.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the time I wasn't seeing that.
No.
At the time I was like, wait a minute. You're a minister. Like, you a minister and you acting like that? You a minister and you getting upset like that?
Yeah, you used to say, minister? You'll be there for you've been here for 7 years and you're acting like this? Yeah.
You've been all these years and this is how ministers act.
Yeah.
I was so clueless.
Yeah.
So clueless. Just, I was babe in Christ. You know.
Yeah.
I hadn't matured.
Yeah. And I was just very over thinking that because our honeymoon was so great, I thought that our marriage, by the time we came, it'll be smooth sailing, and it was not. Yeah, it was not. And like I said, the first 30 days, Johnny, I think on day 29, I was ready to return to sender. Jesus, you can have him back. I'm done.
Then you call?
I called somebody. I called. Yes, yes. And I was like, y'all can have him back. I'm good. I'm good. Whatever you saw, that it was a dud. Wow. But I'm grateful, man, because it was some heated moments. It was some heated moments.
If the walls could
talk. Yeah. But I remember, man, at one point, I called mama. I called my mama. Man, I don't suggest anyone do this. Okay. Because you and I we were married and we're just trying to understand it. And I remember calling mama and I remember saying, Ma, and JB over here doing this, and I don't want to be with him anymore. I'm over him. And Ma, I don't like the way he's talking to me. I don't appreciate it. And she was like, I'm on my way. So her and my youngest sister, they came through like Thelma and Louise. And so when they came, and by the time they came over, I'm like, oh, Mom, I love my chocolate. Mama looked at me like, what? You know what? I'm not getting involved in no more y'all dramas because by that time we pretty much made up.
Yeah, we done made it up.
You know, and so but I don't.
But that's a lesson too. Don't make decisions out of your emotions.
Yeah, man.
Because when you in your emotions, anything anything can happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then when you calm down, and things, you know what I'm saying, you start working things out. Now the family, thank God, Mama Della was a type of person to be understanding. Exactly. But some people family will be ready to fight. They come in with sticks and bats and you know what I'm saying, ready to get down on this person. But y'all done made up, so now the family mad.
Mad at you.
You know what I'm saying? So please don't do that. Please.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah. But we've We've experienced a lot.
Yes, we have.
And the first 2
Yes, we
years,
have.
I think the first 2 years, man, I tell anyone, if you can get through the first 2 years, you homesick. You good.
You good. You good. That's true.
Because
That's true.
it's like trying to put a circle in a square peg, and it's
you're a woman.
Yeah.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
You come from your background.
Yeah.
You were raised how you were raised. You had your experiences. I was raised how I was raised. I had my experiences. And now these two people coming together.
Yeah.
It's like trying to get the alignment there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, you know, and I'm thinking because we're in God, right? We met in church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh man, we good. We
pray
church,
together.
We pray together. We was fasting on Fridays.
Yes.
We
used to fast on Fridays. Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh man, when we walk down that aisle and we say I do, everything was gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
Just clueless. There's no perfect. Nothing.
Is.
Nobody's perfect. There's no perfect you and no perfect me. So how can two imperfect people come together and it be perfect? It just wasn't gonna happen.
So true.
But I want to say too, I want to talk about what was an eye opener for me and what helped me, what helped us, I believe. And definitely what helped me in the situation.
Yes.
I remember we were in a prayer service. We were in a prayer service one morning. And
I remember, I know what you're talking about.
Yes. And Bishop was there, Pastor Bishop was there, and another pastor was there, one of the associate pastors. And I remember pulling him to the side. Prayer was over, and I remember pulling him to the side, and we were talking, and I was telling him about, you know, how we were clashing and how, like, you know, I don't want our marriage to be like this. You know what I'm saying? He gave me the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
That really, like, it was like the light bulb came on for me.
Yeah.
He said, the same way I'm a pastor over this church and I have my congregants, all of the congregants got different personalities. All of them are different. They come from different backgrounds, but I love them all the same. Why? Because God sent all of them to me. Right. So it's like, as the leader of my home, as the priest, right, my job is to minister to you,
right,
as you are my church, right, because you are my church, you're my first ministry, and he said the same way I have to deal with different personalities and different things that's going on, I love them all the same, and I know that he said that the things that they're going through, it's just God revealing the areas that they need healing in. So that's my place as the under shepherd, right? The pastor, to help walk them through that. Right. And that's when a light came on in my head. It was like, ding. Right. Oh, wow. So, okay. So when I see things that I don't like about her or things that she's doing that I feel are a detriment or not good, it's not for me to point fingers about it. It's not for me to come down and condemn her about it. It's for me to minister to that area. That was the moment when I realized, yeah, okay, God, you're showing me these things about her to help her. Right. And you're showing her the things about me for her to help me. And that's when the light came on. And ever since then, it was like, that's when the shift happened. And from that point, I started to see, okay, before you get upset, take a moment. Realize that this is an area, this is something she's dealing with. Yeah. Your job as her husband is to minister to that area.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to mention is, like, you know, in Ecclesiastes 4:12, where it says a three-stranded cord is quickly broken.
Very good.
Quickly broken.
Yes.
So for me, that was something I was trying to stand on. You and I would actually pray that all the time, like, but please let us be like a three-stranded cord. Isn't quickly broken.
Lord, you be the foundation.
Yeah, Lord. Let you be the foundation, because it was so hard and so challenging. Yes. And I just couldn't believe it. Some days I felt like I wasn't even saved. Like some days I felt like I wasn't even a great wife. Wow. Like I remember when before we got married, in my head, my thought process was, I'm going to be a great wife. I'm going to cook. He's going to go to work. I'll have my job, but I'm trying to make a home before him. I want to try to make the setting real romantic. I want to make everything nice. And it just was not like that. Right. And I think you and I spent so much time arguing and just not really seeing eye to eye. Yeah. And it really like broke my heart, because
I think we were focusing on each other.
We were.
More than what was actually going on.
Right.
How the enemy was moving. He was trying to use us. We so focused on each other, we missing the whole point.
I think, and that's right, because I think the pivotal point for me that happened was when one day I was driving. You were driving, and that time, man, it seemed like that month, like you and I were just going at it, just arguing, just debating about every little thing. You just kept saying, "But you and you," and I'm looking at you like, it's you. And we were just you were driving one day and we were going somewhere, and you said something, and I instantly wanted to cuss you out. And I said, Lord, this is what I'm saying to God, like inside, like on the inside. I was looking out the window, because at this point I determined I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I'm just a ratchet chick on the street. Like, I'm not gonna do that. And I was thinking to myself, like, Tisha, you are not gonna cuss him out. You are not, like, you are a woman of God. You're gonna get yourself together and you are going to do the right thing. Stop looking at him. Look at yourself. What are you doing wrong? And that's what I kept thinking to myself. And I told God inside, I'm like, Lord, I said like this prayer inside, Jesus, if you can just get me home, get me through this, I'm good. I just want to get home and I just want to get myself together, because I just really felt like like I just wanted to go in on you. And when we made it home, I just went into prayer, man. I remember going into the bathroom, and because that was like my little space, my little spot where I would pray. And I went in that bathroom, man, and I remember looking in that mirror, and I looked at myself. I say, girl, you are going to get yourself together, and you're going to stop looking at him and look at yourself, because, girl, you are free. Girl, you are free. And I just was like, I remember breaking down crying, because I had to look at myself. Because what was it in me that would get me to that point? You know, like, that's not who I was. That's not who I am.
And that's so good, because a lot of times we want to look at the other person.
Man, listen. It's so, and that's what we were doing. We kept looking at that. Listen, that first 2 years, we were looking at each other. And big time. You would look at me and say, Tisha, 7 years? You've been in church for 7 years and you still act like this? And every time you would say that, it would take me back to when we first got together, and you were like, but you're so perfect. And then the anxiety of, oh man, I'm gonna mess it up. I didn't want that,
give that image, like,
I didn't want that side of me to come out. And I was hoping that that part of me were gone. And clearly she was still in there. You know what I'm saying? It was just the things that the things was just like lying dormant. Like they were just chilling, you know what I'm saying? And it had nothing to rub me, to get me to that point. But I had to get, and once I got to that place of, girl, look at yourself. How could you have responded differently? Every time he says something, you don't have to respond. And and I know that used to bother you so bad, like when I wouldn't respond to you, because you read that as, oh, you're not responding. Oh, you're not saying it. You're not going to. Oh, so you don't hear what I'm saying? But plus, you were looking at that as rejecting you.
Yeah, because of my past. Rejection I came out of. And also too, in those moments, I would want to fix it right now.
Yeah, man.
And again, another area where we're different. I want to fix it now. You the type, let me walk away, let me calm down, let me gather my thoughts, and then we'll come back to it. So,
and that's one thing I had to learn too, is because I didn't want you to feel rejected. I didn't want you to feel as if I'm trying to reject you or I'm trying to ignore you. And because I was just tired of the back and forth, and just you and I just coming across at each other so disrespectfully. And I would say to you, Johnny, you would say, so you don't want to listen? You don't want to talk to me, Letitia? And I would tell you, no, I want to hear you. And I would tell you, Johnny, listen, I want to hear you, but I just need a moment. I need a moment. Do you mind if we shelf this conversation and then we can come back to it a little later? And then I would say to you, what would be a good time for you? And then you would tell me. And I think that would give you a little solace in the fact that she wants to hear me. You know,
yes.
Would you say that's
absolutely
true? Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
because
which made me feel better about the situation at the time.
Yeah,
I think we should end with some advice.
Yeah,
for those who are watching. What would you say to women, any women out there that desire a relationship, that desire to be married one day, or even those that are in marriage and they're finding themselves at a place where they're clashing, bumping heads? What advice would you say to the women out there to help them in that situation?
That's a good question. I would say, honestly, take the time to look at yourself. Don't focus so much on, and it's hard to do. It's hard to do. To do the self work is hard to do because we do not want to look at ourselves.
Yes. Marriage is work.
Marriage is work. It really is.
Marriage is work.
And, again, we can say Jesus, Jesus all day. We could quote scriptures all day. We could we could look a certain way in front of the people, but the work is still need to happen. Yes. It needs to happen. I take time to literally, like when I tell you I talk to God, like I talk to him just like I'm talking to you, because, and that helps me, like my prayer time, because it helps me to reflect and to be able to go into prayer. And once I go into prayer, it helps me to bring down those thoughts. It helps me to realize, like, okay, Tisha, you got to look at you. Some things in you that still need to be healed. And you don't have to lash out, because I'm a very strong woman. And just because I'm a strong woman don't mean that I don't need to learn how to submit in certain areas. And I know we submit to each other, but still, like, I know I could just be like a whole handful. Yes. But I also want to come across as soft. That's just an area that I'm actually working on. Like, I want to be a soft woman and not always be, the first thing I think or the first thing that comes when I just say it, or just lash out. So I like I said, I go into prayer, and I know that sounds so cliche, but it's the truth. It's true. And then I actually just like, Tisha, what's going on? What area in your heart need to be healed still? Take the time to really just chill out. And like I said, it's my prayer time. Prayer time for real. Like, and when I say prayer time, sometimes my prayer time looks like crying. I'm just crying. Yeah. Sometimes I don't have anything to say. Right. Yeah. Sometimes I just want to I want to go off, but I have to keep it real. Yeah. I remember Bishop said to me, he said, if you can't keep it real with God, who can you keep it real with? And so I want to keep it real with him, because I know that he's going to help me to get through what I'm dealing with. And once I look at myself instead of looking at you, then that's going to help me to be able to better, be a better person, be able to deal with the issues, deal with the root of it. Yeah.
I would say that, first of all, God is the one who established family. Yeah. And so if you don't have a strong foundation in faith, and then God,
forget about it.
You might as well just go ahead and divorce or whatever, because you're not going to have nothing to sustain you. It's like standing on sinking sand, or a house that's not built on a strong foundation. Right. So that's the first thing I would say is you got to have your faith in God, because he's the one that established relationship. So he's the only one that can show you how to be in a relationship. Right. And I would also say you need someone, a mentor, someone who can give you great godly counsel, because a lot of times people have opinions, family members have opinions, but the only thing that truly is going to stand is what did God say about it. Right. Because he's the one that established it. Right. So definitely good godly counsel, and don't be afraid to open up.
And we also went to therapy. We went to
therapy. That's right. We did. We sure did. Which helped us tremendously, because it helped us to really going to those deep parts, those inward parts that we've forgotten about, probably a lot of it from being a child or growing up into an adult, and how those things affected us, and even to this day still can affect you. But I think that definitely having accountability and community too. Being around other people that are in godly relationships. People that can be an example. You know, for me, growing up, I didn't have a godly example of a relationship. I didn't know what marriage looked like at all. My mom was a single mom my whole time she was alive. You know what I'm saying? The whole time I was with her and past that. So I didn't see a good structured home. So to me, I had no clue what it was to be married. I had no clue what it was to be a husband. I had no clue what it was to be a real man to a woman. You know what I'm saying? Mine was all messed up and jacked up because all my information was coming from the streets. I had no clue about it. So it wasn't until I got under good godly counsel that my eyes began to open, and I said, okay, this is what a man looks like. This is what a man is supposed to be like. This is what a marriage looks like. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely say those things to any man and woman. You know what I'm saying? If you going through in your marriage right now, or you looking to be in a relationship, or you want to be in a relationship, make sure that you have those principles, because those things are going to keep you. Those are the things that kept us. There's no way we would have made it 20 years without those foundations in our lives. That's why I had to say that for sure. Well, listen, y'all, this is episode 2. If the walls could talk, and our hope is that something we shared today will help you. Something we shared today will help you avoid pitfalls and mess ups and things. And that's not to say you're going to be perfect. You're going to mess up. You know what I'm saying? And messing up is not a bad thing sometimes, because sometimes when you mess up, you can learn from your mistakes, and that's good. But our hope is that this will help you to have a great relationship, right? Nobody wants to get into a relationship and then things just fall apart. You know what I'm saying? But if you have the right tools in place, and if you do the right things, make the right steps, it's easier to navigate it, and things can be held together instead of wanting to split and give up and just leave it and be like, that's not for me. That's not true. God didn't create none of us to be alone. He didn't create none of us to be alone. He wants all of us to have a partner, have somebody to share life with. It's just how you do it. You know what I'm saying? That makes the difference. And so we want you to make sure that you continue to tune in to this podcast. Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. we drop a new episode. So listen, subscribe to the YouTube channel, to this YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe so you can stay updated with the notifications about episodes that are coming and all the other content that we release. Also follow us on Instagram, yes, Life with JB and Tisha. It's the both same tag for both. And now, we're on TikTok. Yes, Life with JB and Tisha on TikTok. So that's TikTok, that's Instagram, and of course the YouTube channel that you're watching now to see our episodes. Listen, tell somebody, get the word out. Let's spread the word and get this information out, because people need to hear that marriages can last, that relationships can last, that these things can last. We're a perfect example of that. We ain't boasting or bragging. It's by the grace of God. But it can last if you do the right things. All right. So listen, we love you. We appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday right here on Life with JB and Tisha, keeping it real. We out. We out. We out. We out. Hey, 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 hey.